pretty interesting fight, you know what I'm saying? Because Roach he come to fight. And I think it's a great fight. Everybody talking all that stuff about, oh.
The upcoming fight between Gervonta, Tank, Davis, and Lamont Roach on December 14th has sparked considerable debate. Many fans were anticipating a high-stakes matchup against another top lightweight contender rather than a relatively lesser-known opponent like Roach. For numerous spectators, Roach simply doesn't fit the mold of the dangerous challenger they wish to see face the undefeated knockout artist.
Fighting one of the elite guys that you want to see him fight against. He's fighting another kind of B-level fighter who is really, really good, but you want to see Tank against the best of the best.
Thus, the announcement of the fight was met with widespread skepticism, with critics asserting that Roach was not worthy of stepping into the ring with Davis. Promoter Eddie Hearn took a different stance that defied the prevailing opinions surrounding the announcement. Rather than starting with praise for Davis or defending the bout star power, he shifted the focus to Roach.
Announcement of the Gervonta Davis-Roach fight.
I think that, it's had a lot of criticism, but it's not a bad fight. Lamont Roach is a world champion. He's smaller than Gervonta Davis. The problem is not many people are aware of who he is or his ability, but he can fight. I don't think it's a huge fight, but...
Lamont Roach is a good fighter, Hearn stated, suggesting that the criticism of this matchup stemmed more from a lack of recognition for Roach than any genuine weakness in his skill set. The reactions from the fight community have been undeniably lukewarm. Davis, boasting an impressive 30-0 record with 28 knockouts, deserves an opponent of equal stature. He has made a name for himself by obliterating fighters like Ryan Garcia and Frank Martin, showcasing his speed, power, and relentless finishing ability. Each knockout further solidifies Davis's legend as a fighter many consider virtually untouchable. Thus, when Lamont Roach, a relatively quiet figure with a record of 25-1 in 10 KOs, was named as his next opponent, fans expressed disappointment. However, this is precisely where Hearn's perspective becomes relevant. To dismiss Roach as a weak opponent overlooks the nuanced qualities that make him a dangerous contender. Roach, a former junior lightweight champion, is known for his resilience and technical prowess. His sole defeat came in a closely contested match against Jamel Herring in 2019.
Tank has been receiving unfair criticism because of Lamont not being as known of a fighter as his past opponent.
Yeah, but it's not Tank's fault. The guys with the so-called names, they turn Tank down, they price themselves out. And because people don't know Lamont, he's not as popular, they think he can't fight, but Lamont can fight. And he got a hell of a pedigree, 7-time national champion, and he's tough. He can fight.
And since then, Roach has only honed his skills further. Now, as he moves up in weight to face Davis, he presents a challenge that not everyone recognizes at first glance. While critics may perceive this as an easy victory for Davis, the sport is rife with surprises, and Roach understands that this fight could redefine his career. Hearn's reasoning for the bout goes deeper than just filling a December card. People don't know who Roach is, he said, but added that real boxing fans should recognize this as a good fight. He acknowledged the disappointment in not landing a bigger name, but questioned what options were truly available for Davis at this stage. Was it realistic to expect Davis to fight another top lightweight with so little preparation? Perhaps the reaction isn't really about Roach. It's about what fans demand from fighters like Davis, who carry the weight of expectation with every bout. However, even with the praise coming from Hearn about Roach, he still believes Tank is going to win. This is the same view that Teofimo Lopez has, except with his usual jabs.
You think you dominate Tank?
I think I dominate any of them. If you really look at it, if you gotta really tap in on this, look at the resume, all that extra, whatever. There's a certain limit that you hit, right? But then there's that next criteria or that next top tier. And if you don't match that, you never gonna know how great you really are. And I've done that a few amount of times already. I jumped out that box and done that. So I have yet to see Gervonta come out of that box yet. You know what I'm saying? They're about to put him with a guy at 130 pounds. Whether he's a champion or not, you're getting a guy lighter than you to come up and weight to make you look good again.
Teofimo Lopez, known for his bold statements and fearless attitude, has made it clear that he believes Tank Davis will dominate Lamont Roach in their upcoming fight on December 14th. Lopez, however, doesn't stop there. While he gives Davis credit for his skills, he insists that he's the only fighter who can truly defeat the undefeated knockout artist. Tim Bradley also didn't hold back in his recent criticism of Tank, calling the WBA lightweight champion a total fraud. According to Bradley, Tank's management has been strategically shielding him by matching him with softer opponents, creating an illusion of greatness rather than proving his skills against top-tier competitors. This latest matchup against Roach, who is moving up in weight from 130 pounds, only further fuels Bradley's belief that Davis is being protected rather than tested. Bradley expressed disbelief over Davis's choice to fight Roach, a super featherweight, instead of someone from his own weight class, such as number 3 WBA contender Edwin de Los Santos.
Allowing Gervonta to get proper leverage behind his shots. In case Garcia is the challenger. Oh, down. It looked like he was going down. He got hurt. But Garcia's in serious trouble. Look at this. Gervonta.
In Bradley's view, de Los Santos, who gave Shakur Stevenson a tough fight last November, would have been a much more credible opponent. Put him in the ring with someone that can punch back, someone with a great IQ just as well as he is, Bradley insisted. The fact that Davis's management passed on Edwin de Los Santos, who is in the same promotional stable as Tank, raises serious questions for Bradley about what they are trying to protect. They're covering something, and I don't know what it is, he remarked, wondering if Davis's team was avoiding de Los Santos due to his power and southpaw stance. Bradley went on to criticize the pattern of Davis's career, claiming that his management has been hand-picking fighters from lower weight classes to boost his record and make him look more dominant than he truly is. This is the Tank Protection Program, Bradley said, comparing the matchmaking process to putting makeup on flaws to make Davis appear invincible. In his opinion, Davis has yet to face a truly dangerous opponent, and until he does, the narrative around him being a top pound-for-pound fighter is merely a facade. Bradley's frustrations also extended to the broader issue of pay-per-view numbers. He predicted that the fight against Roach would struggle to draw significant buys, not because of a lack of interest in Tank, but because fans aren't being given the fights they want to see. No one is going to pay for this PPV, Bradley warned, noting that real excitement and big numbers come from competitive matchups, not one-sided affairs. Either way, he was confident that Lamont Roach would go down as another Tank's win. However, Lamont Roach himself is stepping into the ring with Tank Davis with a quiet confidence. Despite the doubts many have expressed about the fight,
Tank Davis, I want to fight the guys that's going to come to try to fight me, to try to win, to make sure they got stuff to lose too, just like me. My guys that want to just come here and just be a part of the show.
Can you send a message to Tank Davis?
Get ready.
In a recent interview with Najee Grampus on Cigar Talk, Roach addressed the critics head-on, dismissing the idea that Davis's size gives him a major advantage. Everybody he fights is damn near bigger than him, Roach pointed out. The only person that was smaller than him was Isaac Cruz, and that's just in height. Roach believes that size won't determine the outcome of their clash as he prepares to move up from the 130 pounds division to the 135 pounds weight class. Roach's journey at 130 pounds has been extensive, but he is no stranger to moving between weight classes. I fight at 130 because that's where I campaign at, he explained. That's where I started my career. That's where I worked my way up to a world title. Although he always intended to eventually move up to 135 pounds, the opportunity to face someone like Davis prompted him to make that transition sooner than expected. Roach feels more than ready for this challenge and approaches the fight with determination rather than fear. However, early in his career, Roach often weighed slightly above the 130 pounds limit. When a boxer is starting their career, they don't necessarily have to make 130 pounds because we're not in title contention or none of that, he clarified.
Like Floyd Money Mayweather, one of the greats, one of the legends, one of the GOATs said to himself, Sugar Tank Davis. So we know that Tank Davis loves to be painting his nails, wearing stilettos, wearing them purses. How many pay-per-view buys does this Roach Jr. coming up for 130? How many buys do you think this does, my brother?
I mean, 350 is what Tank and Frank did, and Frank wasn't a champion. Roach has been around. He lost to Jamel Herring. He came back from defeat to be a world champ. I think it'll do a good 450, 500.
I think it does maybe 175,000 pay-per-view buys if David Benavidez isn't a part of that crowd, because
This experience of competing at higher weights gives him confidence that moving up to 135 pounds will not be a struggle, especially when compared to Davis, who has fought in multiple divisions, including featherweight, lightweight, and junior welterweight. In terms of physicality, Roach isn't concerned about facing Davis at 135 pounds. Standing at 5 feet 7 inches, compared to Davis's 5 feet 5 inches, Roach sees no significant height or size advantage for his opponent. He emphasized that while Davis is strong and skilled, he doesn't perceive him as a big lightweight. This mental edge, combined with his adaptability and experience, is what Roach believes will keep him competitive against one of boxing's most feared knockout artists.
Magdaleno, though, look at the bodywork by Isaac Cruz to start the night. Ripping shots, Isaac Cruz day drops Magdaleno on a heavy right hand.
Lamont Roach's confidence heading into this fight isn't just talk. It is rooted in his belief that he belongs in the ring with Davis, regardless of what critics say. Boxing analyst Paulie Malignaggi shares this sentiment, framing the fight as a crucial opportunity for Roach. According to Malignaggi, Roach has the chance to boost his recognition and potentially exploit the narrow path available to him against the undefeated knockout machine, Davis. While many have dismissed Roach, Malignaggi sees this as a moment for the junior lightweight to establish himself on a bigger stage, though he acknowledges the considerable challenge that lies ahead. Roach has been a solid fighter, Malignaggi remarked on Pro Box TV. But he hasn't had the level of exposure or notoriety to really justify being in a fight like this on pay-per-view. He emphasized that if Roach had a longer track record as a defending champion with multiple title defenses, the matchup might carry more weight for fans. Instead, Malignaggi believes the fight serves more to keep Davis in the win column and maintain his star status. It's a cement your brand kind of thing. Keep Davis winning so he can look like a winner, Malignaggi added, pointing out that while this bout may help Davis stay unbeaten, fans were hoping for more. Much of the criticism surrounding the fight, as both Malignaggi and fellow boxing expert Chris Algieri agree, stems from Davis's selection of Roach over more established or dangerous opponents in the lightweight division. Algieri expressed disappointment that Davis didn't opt to face one of the many talented 135-pounders who would have made for a more competitive showdown, including fighters like William Zepeda, Floyd Schofield, Keyshawn Davis, and Raymond Maratala.
How do you see the fight playing out?
I can't bet against Tank against nobody at 135 pounds. No offense, but I think he's one of the 5 or 6 best fighters in the world. I think Lamont Roach is an excellent craftsman. He's a solid fighter, but Tank is he's another level of fighter.
Are all top-ranked lightweights who could have provided Davis with a more credible challenge? Instead, the bout against Roach leaves many questioning the level of competition, even if Roach is a skilled and crafty fighter. One of the interesting points raised during the discussion was Davis's previous desire to face high-profile opponents like Vasyl Lomachenko and Shakur Stevenson. Both matchups fell apart for reasons beyond Davis's control. Lomachenko chose to step away from the sport temporarily to be with his family amidst the ongoing war in Ukraine, while Stevenson pursued opportunities linked to Saudi Arabia, ultimately signing with Eddie Hearn before an injury delayed his return. These missed opportunities may have forced Davis to settle for Roach, leading to the underwhelming response from fans. Despite the criticisms, Malignaggi didn't entirely discount Roach's chances.
How Tank fights, like you see Tank, he's...
Nah, you gotta fight Shakur Stevenson, kid.
No.
Until you get me Shakur and Tank, I'm not
100%, but I think that's being built. I feel like it's
but that's the problem. You marinated and you don't get it when you don't want it. Now they're talking about Tank and Lomachenko. I don't need Tank and Lomachenko. I needed it like 4 years ago.
He's a crafty little veteran, Malignaggi said, praising Roach's durability and skill. If Roach can bring those qualities into the fight, particularly capitalizing on Davis's tendency to start slow, there could be a window for him to make the bout competitive. Algieri added that if Roach can stack back up the early rounds and avoid Davis's knockout power, an upset isn't out of the question. Yes, it's possible we can see an upset, Algieri admitted. Though he also noted the immense physical and mental pressure Davis is likely to impose as the fight progresses. Malignaggi concluded by stating that if Roach were to win, it would undoubtedly be one of the biggest upsets of the year. However, both he and Algieri agreed that Davis's power and relentless pressure would likely be too much for Roach, ultimately leading to another victory for the undefeated champion. Terence Crawford has also not been left behind on the line of comments. Crawford doesn't agree with the idea that the fight is a cherry pick by Davis, a term used by critics to describe a fight where a stronger opponent picks a weaker fighter to easily maintain their unbeaten record. "I don't feel it's a cherry pick because of the context," Crawford said when asked about the fight. People are saying that just because of how highly they think of Tank, you have to look at it from a different angle. Sure, there are bigger names out there like Teofimo Lopez, Devin Haney, and Shakur Stevenson, but that doesn't mean every fight Tank takes has to be against one of those guys. Crawford explained that some fans and analysts expect every Davis fight to be a high-profile blockbuster event, and when the opponent doesn't carry the same star power as Lopez, Haney, or Stevenson, it immediately gets labeled as a mismatch. They think of him so highly that anything less is going to be seen as a cherry pick, Crawford added. However, Crawford understands the business and strategic aspects of boxing that often go unnoticed by casual fans. Sometimes people forget that fighters have other obligations and things going on outside of these big fights. Tank and Roach are both from the DC/Baltimore area, and they want to showcase this fight there. "That's not cherry picking, that's making smart decisions for your career," Crawford stated. For Crawford, the fight is an opportunity for Davis to remain active while building his brand in front of a local audience, even if it doesn't meet the expectations for a massive super fight. Look, you can't have a mega fight every single time. Tank's fighting Roach, who is a good fighter in his own right. He's a solid competitor, and sometimes people underestimate these guys just because they don't have a big name. I don't think Roach can beat Tank, but that doesn't mean he's not going to go out there and try to prove everyone wrong. As Crawford points out, the criticism of Davis stems not from Roach's skill level, but from the massive reputation Davis has built for himself as one of the most feared knockout artists in boxing. People want to see Tank fight the best because they believe he's the best, and I understand that. But we also have to realize that not every fight is going to be against the top 3 in the division, Crawford noted. He also touched on how boxing fans often expect their favorite fighters to face nothing but top-tier opponents, which is not always practical or fair. In boxing, you build yourself up. Roach is stepping up to face one of the best in the sport, and that's what makes this interesting. If Roach can somehow keep it competitive,
How much can McCrory take? Now the refs will...
Maybe we'll see him gain more respect. But you can't dismiss a fight just because it's not the fight fans were hoping for. These things take time to materialize, Crawford said. Crawford's perspective provides a more balanced view of the upcoming fight. He believes the fight makes sense for both Davis and Roach in their current trajectories, even if it isn't the blockbuster matchup fans were hoping for. While he doesn't think Roach has the tools to beat Davis, he also doesn't agree with the notion that Davis is taking an easy route with this fight. This isn't about cherry picking. It's about keeping active, staying sharp, and making the right moves at the right time, Crawford concluded. In Crawford's eyes, the fight is a necessary step for Davis as he continues to build his legacy, and it also gives Roach an opportunity to prove himself against one of the best in the sport. However, as much as Crawford sees the opportunity for Roach, He believes that Tank has what it takes to put Roach down. Well, what do you think? Share your thoughts below, and don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel for more updates. See you in the next one.